For joining us. I'm Chris Fry. The Ohio Department of Transportation reversing course and approving an aviation permit that would allow construction of the Browns' new stadium in Brook Park. Michelle Nix has the breaking details.
The Haslam Sports Group has now cleared the last major hurdle to build a new dome stadium for the Browns in Brook Park. The height of the dome stadium is no longer at issue in the stadium showdown and no longer standing in the way of construction of the $2.4 billion structure. In August, the Ohio Department of Transportation originally denied the aviation permit, citing that the dome was 58 feet over the limit and could interfere with flight operations at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport. But an independent third-party consultant has now determined that the additional height would not change current flight operations at Cleveland Hopkins. The consultant found that the proposed stadium would have no adverse effect on the safety and efficient use of the airspace and recommended that ODOT issue the permit with a waiver of obstruction standards. ODOT's director agreed with the recommendation. In a statement, Dave Jenkins, the Haslam Sports Group president, said in part, "Safety is of paramount importance to all of us and was at the forefront of our detailed and deliberate process with our FAA consultants, whom we engaged with well before our architects began designing the stadium." And the Haslam Sports Group went on to say that moving forward, they hope for productive conversations with the airport leadership and other stakeholders with this transformative economic development. So what does Cuyahoga County leadership have to say about ODOT reversing course? Cuyahoga County says, quote, "It's disappointed by ODOT's decision to approve a construction permit for a stadium next to Cleveland Hopkins International Airport, despite safety concerns outlined by the airport director and in contradiction with standard practice to defer to local authorities regarding safety concerns. We remain deeply concerned about the stadium project's impact on airport safety and risk to the traveling public, and will be following up with ODOT leadership directly." 19 News also reached out to the airport. In a statement, they said in part, quote, "While we respect ODOT's decision, its reversal does not change our position. Development matters, but not if it comes at the expense of the airport's safe, efficient, and reliable operations." End quote. Reporting in Cleveland, Michelle Nix, 19 News.
Of course, this will be a hot topic on our Stadium Showdown series hosted by Jeff Slauson. We'll stream it live every Friday night at 6:30 on 19 News Plus and on the 19 News app. And you can always go back and watch previous episodes on all of our digital properties.